Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the class of 2021's ring presentation ceremony. I am Cadet Alexis Motko, and helping me is Cadet Christopher Holbert. We are from the class of 2022 and will be the masters of ceremony for today's ring presentation. The class of 2021 and the stage party will be entering shortly. You will be asked to stand for the procession and remain standing for the national anthem. Please turn off all cell phones at this time. As the class of 2021 prepares to receive their rings, I will provide you some background information about VMI and ring figure. VMI is a place of tradition, honor, integrity, duty, and selfless service. It is our belief in these values that sets us apart from any other student in any other college in the world. The tradition of ring figure also sets us apart. This is a brief history of the Vmi Class Ring. The presentation of the Vmi Class Ring and the formal dance known as ring figure represents an important milestone in the life of a VMI cadet, second only to graduation in importance. Although VMI opened in 1839 and the first cadets graduated in 1842, the earliest cadets did not receive VMI rings. The first ring was designed by members of the class of 1884 and was presented to the graduates during their final celebration. Cadets paid $5 for their ring, a large sum of money in the mid-19th century. The original ring was simple in design. The word mitzvah was cut in the top bezel stone in Old English script. Mitzvah is typically translated from Hebrew as watchtower, as an emotional bond between people, which is seen from Genesis 31:49. The Lord watch between me and thee when we are absent one from another. The term signified brotherhood, the enduring connection among the 24 graduates. Throughout the late 19th century, the practice of having class rings was observed by some classes and ignored by others. If a class chose to have a ring, it was presented just before graduation in an informal setting. Cadets gathered in a Brother Rat's room and all put on their new rings simultaneously. The custom of receiving class rings became firmly established beginning with the class of 1908, which also established the tradition of rings being distributed during the second class or junior year. The class of 1928 started the present ring figure tradition at the Thanksgiving dance in 1926. This first ring figure, which was held in the old gym in Jackson Memorial Hall, where the VMI Museum is currently housed. Cadets escorted their dates to a red, white, and yellow decorated gym where the class formed the numeral 28 on the dance floor. Before their dates, slipped the rings on the cadet's finger. Closing with an old yell for the class of 1928, the tradition of ring figure was born. With each successive year, new traditions were added to the event or changed by the class planning ring figure events. The class of 1929 carried on the traditions started the previous year, but added their own twist. The cadets received their rings from their date beneath a rose-covered arch. In 1930, the event was moved to the new gym in Cock Hall. In 1932, the dance was held as a formal military ball, with Cock Hall richly decorated in black and white. In 1933, the dates of the class of 1935 added the tradition of wearing a white gown to the ball. The class of 1962 was the first to commemorate key events from their shared experience by establishing the class side of the ring in 1960. In 1961, Lieutenant General George R.E. Schell, VMI class of 1931, and the Institute's 9th superintendent, initiated change that continues today, that of presenting the ring to each cadet in the class. The class of 1966 designed a huge replica of their ring for cadets and dates to walk through before going to the rose-covered arches to receive their rings. Over the last few decades, ring figure as an event and the rings themselves have become increasingly larger and more elaborate in design, in marked contrast to the much plainer examples from the 19th century. However, it is now time for the class of 2021 to join in this tradition. Please stand for the procession of the class of 2021 and the stage party. Remain standing for the national anthem.
Please take your seats. General P, distinguished guests, families, and friends, we welcome you to the Class of 2021's Ring Presentation Ceremony. My name is John West, the Ring Figure Chairman, and joining me on the stage today is General J.H. Benford P. III, VMI's 14th Superintendent in Class of 1962, and our class leadership, Cadet Dylan Stoltzfus, President, and Cadet Caleb Blank, Class Historian. Class of 21, I'm humbled to stand before you today and congratulate each of you on a job well done. 825 days ago, we matriculated this very building, some scared, some nervous, some unsure of what the road ahead entailed and their ability to take it on. We quickly found out that the old saying rings true: through adversity, bonds are forged. And 2.5 years later, here we are, ready to partake in the culmination of our work thus far and enter into the ring-bearing family. This is a huge achievement on our part, but the journey isn't finished. Leaders are measured by their ability to prevent and put out fires as they soon arise. And unfortunately, our world is in a blaze. As soon as you put this ring on, you tell the world that you are a firefighter. You will be wearing the Institute's core values of courage, discipline, commitment, and most importantly, honor. Honor is one thing that makes our school very different from every other school in the nation. To be able to take someone at their word and trust a complete stranger to never lie, cheat, steal, or tolerate those who do is something you often don't come across in this world. People know who we are from VMI and what we stand for, and they know that we are ready to put out these fires that have come across in the world based on this symbol that we wear on our hands each and every single day. I have nothing but complete trust in each and every single one of you to wear this ring with honor and put out the fires in this world. We are the future, we are the present, we are the solution. We are the VMI Class of 2021. Congratulations once again. It is now my honor to introduce VMI's 14th Superintendent, whose extensive bio can be found in your programs, General J.H. Benford P. III.
Ladies and gentlemen of the Class of 2021, faculty and staff, families and friends, good afternoon. I'm truly honored to be with you today as you pass this very special milestone in your journey as cadets. The VMI ring in many ways is an outward sign of the inward strength of character, intelligence, and determination that you possess and have already demonstrated in overcoming many challenges since you entered the Institute really just a few short years ago. Furthermore, it is an emblem that signifies that you have truly entered into the community of VMI men and women. And this afternoon, I'm reminded of my own class's ring presentation ceremony in JM Hall 59 years ago. I remember gathering with classmates, our girlfriends, in my case a blind date, and families. I remember waiting with anticipation to receive my ring, wishing that the speakers would quit dwelling on ancient history and on how special the day was so that we really could get on with the real business of the day, the ring presentation. In this way, perhaps it was like many other convocations and ceremonies held at the Institute, but unlike so many of them which quickly fade or run together in one's memory, that ring presentation ceremony has never faded from my memory. I remember our guest of honor, Catherine Marshall, widow of General George C. Marshall, perhaps our most famous graduate and one of our nation's greatest heroes. General Marshall had passed away the previous year, and our class selected a ring design that memorialized his magnificent contributions to our nation. The escort for Mrs. Marshall, Cadet Klaus Burmeister, received the honor mainly because he was one of the few cadets in our class without a date. And in a strange twist of fate, however, Klaus's duty as escort became newsworthy. An enterprising newsman discovered that Burmeister was a second-generation immigrant from Germany whose father had been a Luftwaffe pilot in World War II. So it came to pass that Klaus Burmeister, son of a former officer in the Nazi war machine, an American citizen and VMI cadet, class of 1962, escorted the widow of General George C. Marshall, the architect of the Allied victory over the Axis powers and author of the Marshall Plan, the blueprint, as you know, for post-war European reconstruction that led to the development of a thriving German democracy. Our ring celebration transcended our own concerns and symbolized reconciliation of old foes at the height of the long Cold War, a period when the United States was leading the fight against the Soviet Union for security and the freedom of men and women around the world. My class honored Mrs. Marshall for all that her husband represented by awarding her our class ring, a ring that is on today, on permanent display today at the Marshall Museum. I remember receiving my ring and marveling at its large size and its intricate design. As I stared at it, I realized that I was more than halfway through my cadetship. Graduation was within my grasp. There was light at the end of the tunnel, and it was not a train. This was one of those special rites of passage, a defining moment in my life and in the lives of my classmates. And I gazed at that ring during the evening and in the days, months, and years that followed. And I do so today. I remember some 6 years ago after graduation, returning home from Vietnam shortly after the Tet Offensive of 1968. I'd been in the country a year and was recovering from minor battlefield wounds and fatigue. I'd lost considerable weight, and somewhere along a Virginia highway, my ring slipped off my finger and was lost. And I was sick to my stomach. There I was, I had survived combat in Vietnam and was finally home, but I'd lost my class ring. I prayed that someone would find it and return it to me. Well, the original ring was lost and it hurt very badly. I remember a few years ago being told that near the end of the Vietnam War, another VMI graduate came across a North Vietnamese prisoner of war wearing a VMI ring. He retrieved it and checked the engraving. The ring had belonged to my classmate and F Company commander, Captain Jim Rogan, who had been killed in combat several years earlier. The ring was returned to Jim's family, and I know it meant very much to them. So with your ring ceremony today, these seemingly jumbled thoughts and others have come to mind, and I wondered about their significance. And after a while, it dawned on me that these very personal and simple memories offered the insight into the real meaning of your ring that you're about to receive. Your ring is large for a college ring. It's perhaps the largest of any in the nation. Its physical size and ornate carvings are your tie to thousands that have come before you. And as you know, you could have chosen an easier path. You could have saved yourselves the rigors that are part of the VMI Spartan way of life, but you did not. You chose a path strewn with obstacles, a path that you negotiate daily through teamwork and selflessness, commitment, physical and mental courage, obedience, loyalty, discipline, and honor. And in this spirit, your ring symbolizes the Herculean trials that you have overcome at the Institute, the strong bonds that you have forged with your classmates, the stress you have endured in balancing academics and athletics, the military, barracks life, and many other activities, the burden you bear in remaining true to the ideals of the Institute today and far into the future. Your ring's large size and elegant etchings are physical reminders of the tremendous burden of leadership each of you will now carry as you enter into your chosen professions: the military, law, medicine, politics, business, engineering, education, and other fields of endeavor. So in this, the 72nd anniversary of George Marshall's pronouncement of his plan for rebuilding war-ravaged Europe, you and your classmates are beginning to take up that wonderful burden of leadership in the tradition of VMI graduates. Your ring's majestic features symbolize the strict code of character that you have embraced, the stringent standards of citizenship that you're expected to uphold, the absolute sense of duty that you're expected to follow. If you compromise on these precepts, the physical grandeur of your ring will be an immediate and I think electrifying reminder that you have failed yourself, your brotherettes, and the Institute. As I considered these thoughts in light of my own experiences, I now understand why I felt so ill when I lost my ring back in 1968. That loss was a sobering reminder of my deep roots at VMI and my bond with my classmates. That loss touched on who I was and all that I could become. And fortunately, the physical ring could be replaced, for it was a mere hunk of gold and stone. And as I ordered a new ring, I was keenly aware that if I failed to live up to what the ring represented, that loss would be an irreplaceable loss. This afternoon is special, for it marks your giant advance in becoming VMI graduates, that special band of brothers and sisters recognized the world over for their sterling moral, ethical, and spiritual values. You join a glorious line now stretching back over 180 years. So as you depart Cameron Hall today, I recommend that you pause for a moment, that you gaze upward to the parade grounds and traverse the academic buildings and focus on the ramparts of the barracks. Envision the Corps on parade. Glance further to the north up Route 11 and your class's symbolic march to Newmarket and taking your oath. And envision an earlier Corps forming up in barracks in preparation for their march to Newmarket and a lasting place in history. Close your eyes and listen. I think you'll hear the voices of thousands from the old Corps, living and dead, whispering in your ear, "Well done, well done, well done, class of 2011. We offer our warmest congratulations to you. Okay, now this is going to be a fun weekend, right? Okay. I ask your very good judgment and maturity in all your actions while celebrating. Take care of your brotherettes and take care of your dates. And let's have a safe and really wonderful ring figure, one that you can be proud of your class and VMI. And let me just tell you something. In a short, it's hard to believe, in a short 9 months, you returned to the Institute to lead the Corps of Cadets. It seems like just yesterday you took your oath as rats. This weekend's important to that legacy. You and I have talked about legacy and leadership. It starts with each of us. So God bless this great class of 2021. Let's have a good time. Pamela and I. Okay.
Thank you, General P. May your words serve to inspire and encourage us for the rest of our cadetships and beyond. At this time, we would like to begin the ring presentation ceremony for the class of 2021.
General P. and Cadet Stolzfus will officiate. Please hold all applause to the end. At this time, we will begin the presentation of the rings to the class of 2021. Cadets, prepare to receive your rings. Samer Albomoma. Adam Alexander. Casey Allen. Dawson Allen. Joseph Alessi. Jocelyn Knopp. Jared Anter. Stephen Anthony. Sergio Aparicio. William Armbruster. Anna Armfield. Benjamin Ashmore II. Logan Barlayer. Jennifer Bailey. Jackson Baines. Ian Baker. Michael Bangert. Hunter Barnes. Cody Barnhart. Austin Barrett. Seamus Bartmus. Jeffrey Bartolucci. Bryce Basic. Joshua Bass. Timothy Bedford. Benjamin Bennett. Daniel Bennett. Evan Bergman. Brady Biller. William Blake. Kofi Seifi Boateng. Jared Beaulieu. Tavon Bond. James Booth. Nicholas Bordoni. Paul Boslego. Stephen Bouchard. Paul Boucher. Zane Borgie. Nathaniel Bowers. Patrick Bowman. Thomas Branch. Thomas Branham. Thomas Branch. Robert Branham. Noah Breeding. Nicholas Bruin. Daniel Brewster.
Jack Briseño. Charles Broder. Joshua Brown. Cole Buchanan. William Burton, Jr. Alan Burkett. Todd Cattle. Ryan Cahill. Brooke Calloway. Jesus Camacho II. Alexander Caperletti. Marilyn Cardenas Paredes. Daniel Carlson. Natalie Carpenter. Nicholas Carpenter. Angelo Cicchini. Dane Chandler. Cody Chappell. Jordan Chalklin. Jesse Chernault. Tyler Chow. Tyler Sita. Thomas Clements. Grant Clemens. Tyron Cloyd. John Collins. Brad Combs. Clifton Conway III. Noah Cook. Sydney Cook. Jesse Cornell III. Noah Cornett. Sean Cox. Thomas Cox. Daniel Crawford II. Kylie Cooper. Cole Curtis. Sean Sear. Brad Edward Davis. Connor Davis. Parker Davis. Sarah Davis. Tavon Davis. Mason Day. Noah Delaney Manuel. Matthew DeCiani. Matthew Dickman. Simon Dietrich.
Benjamin Doler. Kyle Donnelly. Joshua Drake. Raymond Dua. William Duggan. Alexandria Duclas. John Duncan IV. Richard Dunleavy III. Cooper Duplantis. Jonah Egger. Joshua Emery. Ariel Endicott. Philip Everett. Samuel Ewald. Matthew Faber. Will Fox. Tragan Fall. Jonathan Fant. Andrew Farmer. Alexander Feldner. Vincenzo Ferrari. Richard Fetter. Garner Fleming. Adam Fondness. Calvin Fuller. Carter Funson. Alexander Gallen. Pamela Gandolfo. Leslie Giron Molina. Hunter Godin. Logan Godwin. Emily Gothard. Michael Gothel. Jordan Gramo. Alan Grant. Hayden Grimmett. Tyler Hages. Isaac Heklitis. Amber Hamill. William Hammond. Joseph Hammer. Onika Hammond. Matthew Hamner. Andrew Hamrick. Eric Hart. Jerry Haste, Jr. Nicholas Hostler. Sierra Henderson.
Miles Henderson Chambers. Michael Hickey. Patrick Higgins. Ann Herlinger. Andrew Ho. Jonathan Holcomb. Christopher Holland. Brandon Hornung. Nicholas Housand. Daniel Holzbosch. Jonathan Hudson. Corey Iannata. McKenna Imset. Cecilia Ivy. William Jackson. Leandrew Jefferson III. Jackson Jennings. Tristan Jimenez. Matthew Jingle. Reed Johnson. Jack Jones. Tyler Jones. Kyle Caradai. Matthew Keene. Megan Kelly. Liam Kelly. Aaron Kemp. Jay Kennedy. Levi Kennedy. Caleb Kim. Grayson Kinsler. Walter Kitson IV. Landon Knappenberger. William Knight II. Lauren Nipfer. Griffin Quall. Chima Padua. Jonathan Kraus. Joshua Krogman. Nathan Krug. John Kruchevsky. Braun Cush. Leishing Laya. Jacob LaMountain. David Landclose. Frank Landymore IV. Eric Lane.
Joshua Lassiter. Bo Latska. Noah Lawing. William Lawrence. Sarah Leckman. Juok Lee. Weiju Lee. Brian Lee. Gage Levine. Miles Lewis. Angelia Lee. Lauren Lindsay. Megan Lindsay. Brendan Lloyd. Nathan Lloyd. Samuel Lukanowski. David Lutz. Thor McDonald. Joseph McLean. Emilio Maestas. Salvatore Mancuso. William Mann. Casey Marchand. Parker Martinez. Zachary Masri. John Mateo. Liam Matthews. Gabriella Matson. John Matzeder. Peter Maxwell. Jake Mazziata. Cole McCarty. Catherine McCommons. Grace McDonald. Sean McGraw. Brendan McKee. Nathaniel McPeak. Jack Menzel. Lindsay Mercer. Anthony Miglaris. Paige Miller. William Miller IV. Jacob Mills. James Milstead Jr. Evan Monteith. Dominica Moore. Emerson Moore. Angel Morales Acevedo.
Anthony Moran. Evan Morcom. Samuel Morera. Ryan Morello. Sydney Morgan. Andrew Morin. Zachary Morris. Taylor Morton. Stephen Morrill Jr. Thomas Muldowney. Fabian Minos Velasquez. Eric Monroe. Samuel Murphy. Joseph Murray. William Murray. Joshua Myers. Andrew Nato. Kurt Nauman. Bashir Nyang. Seth Nichols. William Nicholson. Connor Noyes. Callan Nucio. Jose Nunez Jr. John Ocampo. Ellis Orquiza. William Osteen III. Christopher Owens. Grady Owens. Wesley Padilla Jr. Daniel Page. Nicholas Palmieri. Gregory Parham II. Luke Perry. Casey Perea. Ryan Peruti. Colin Perry. Spencer Peters. Robert Peterson. William Pierce. Darren Pitts. Nathaniel Porterfield. Taylor Powell. Emma Pratt. Caleb Putman. Richard Keespe. Kevin Ray. Brandon Rash.
Hannah Rader. Kellen Reeves. Matthew Ryman. Ripken Reynolds. John Richard. Nicholas Ryder. John Rydell. Ryan Riley. Davis Ring. Amber Reichig. Adam Roberto. Blaine Roberts. Devin Roberts. James Robertson. Jacob Robinson. Ciaran Roche. Nina Rodriguez. Travis Room. Ariana Ruffin. Jordan Russell. Zoe Salafatinos. Jacob Salomonsky. Bryce Sanford. Jacob Saunders. Nicola Scanlon. Devin Schaefer. David Shooter. Samantha Schwagel. Willem Chandra. Jacob Sellers. David Simler Jr. Ethan Severns. Cole Shank. William Shiflett III. Anthony Sakari. Benjamin Skibicki. Samuel Slagle. Jonathan Slaughton. Ashton Smith. Bennett Smith. Harrison Smith. Isaac Smith. Noah Smith. Troy Smith. Benjamin Solis. Jonathan Sotogairu. James Soward. Michael Spence.
Elijah Spradlin. John Stan IV. Minos Stathis. Sullivan Stern. Kara Strachan. Shane Strand. Austin Strobel. Poyin Su. Connor Sullivan. Daniel Swanson. Sydney Swoop. Travis Taring. Cameron Terrell. Joshua Thomas. Luke Thompson. Theodore Thompson. Joshua Titus. Josiah Titus. Michael Tommaso II. Joshua Tui. Taylor Truitt. Wilson Tuck. Reese Udinsky. Daniel Usher. Michael Valenzuela. John Vesterman Jr. Aldo Vidro. Lance Von Rentellen. Austin Wagner. Sarita Walters. Jordan Ward. Cody Warner. Charles Weatherman. Isaac Weaver. Noah Weaver. Aiden Webb. Zachary Webb. Sullivan Webster. Aaron Weibel. Zachary Weir. Curtis White. Mitchell White. Perry White. Seth Whitehurst. Zachary Wiley. James Winston. Benjamin Winter. Gray Wolf.
Jacob Woodruff. Alexander Woolwine. William Wyatt III. Alan Weiss Jr. Alan Shu. Kiditouch Yamploy. Chenjwin Yang. Kevin Yang. Chinjbo Yao. Christian Yi. James Young. Rachel Zakwija. Yuchin Zhang. Parker Zimmerman. Gavin Asbury. Jordan Bethea. Bruce Trask. Jonathan West Jr. John West Jr. Caleb Blank. Dylan Stoltzfus.
Well, let's give a round of applause to Class of 21. So, as I've sat up here today, I've heard many people speak on what this great accomplishment means, the work it took to get to this point, and our duty as representatives of VMI from this point on. With all that being established, I'd like to pause for a moment and thank a few people that helped us along the way. First, I'd like to thank General P for his kind and meaningful words as a man who's gone through our same system and seen it carried through many times. I'd like to thank the parents for standing by our side throughout our entire VMI journey. I know that not all the time we say to you that we love you, but we always mean it no matter what. I'd like to thank the dates. I'd like to thank the dates for coming to celebrate with us during this time. And I'd like to pre-thank you for taking care of my brother Rats, because the Lord knows we're going to need it. I'd like to thank Lieutenant Colonel Faust and Sergeant Major Rubenstein for the mentorship and work you put in the Ring Figure Committee and making this event possible. I hope we didn't make you pull out too much hair. And I'd like to thank all those on the Ring Figure Committee for the time spent, all the countless hours at night, although you had so much homework and so many other things going on. And finally, and most importantly, I'd like to thank the person who I would consider this place to be my absolute best friend. Over the past few months, he has stayed up till 3 or 4 in the morning, working until each task was done. He's gone the extra mile by taking on far more than he was ever asked to do. He has sacrificed his personal time, his schoolwork, all in the name of the Brother Rat spirit. He's a man that I look up to with the utmost respect. He's a powerful man of God and has guided me through many situations in life. And he is a man that has supported me in everything I do. He's a man that has made everything you see this weekend happen without a single complaint. He's our Ring Figure Chairman, Mr. John West. So thank you all for coming. I hope you all have a safe and fun day and a good evening. Rod 21. So I will now ask the class of 21 to prepare as we form the legendary numerical ring figure, give old yells, and sing the spirit and doxology. Class of 21, attention! Form the figure.
Inside the tape. Inside the tape.
Yeah.
You're gonna want to face that way. Face that way.
You're facing
that way.
All right, stand up here for the docs. That's good. That's right.
All right, are you ready? Let's go! Robert G. Bill! Rah, rah, rah! Rah, rah, Vmi 21, 21, 20!
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the VMI Spirit and Doxology. Please remain standing for the departure of the stage party. Will Mrs. Sarah Griffin please report to the ticket office immediately following this presentation? Once again, will Miss Sarah Griffin report to the ticket office immediately following this presentation? Thank you everyone for coming to today's ceremony. 30 minutes from now, there will be a ring blessing ceremony in JM Hall, and all are invited to attend the class of 2021. They will now proceed to Memorial Garden for the Memorial Old Yell. This concludes the ring presentation ceremony.